Lesson 4, or the Lesson 4 tutorial, is a review of what we've learned so far in the course in preparation for your first test. First, go over the planes of the body, remembering that we had 3 major planes. The coronal, which was the one that would be for slicing and through a section of the body to remove, for example, the skin of the face, or if you need to remove a section of mammary tissue, for example, you could do a coronal or a frontal cut or a frontal plane. Then we had the sagittal, or the midline or the median, which was right through the center of the body. And then we had the transverse, which goes across. And I said it was like, for example, the magician making a horizontal cut in that person. And go back to the tutorial, the first lesson on the Screencastify if you need a review of that. And then you had the directional terms. So in the directional terms, you're going to have superior, inferior, proximal, closest to the heart, distal, furthest away. So if I'm using this arm, it would be proximal to the heart and then distal. And then you also had, the median and the medial and lateral, so towards the middle and further away lateral. Proximal, distal, medial, lateral, superior, inferior, and then the one that are not used as often, ventral and dorsal. Ventral and dorsal used more in animal science than not, but ventral in the front, dorsal in the back. In anatomy, we would use anterior and posterior more often. So again, let's go over those first 2 things first. Number 1, think about the planes of the body. Can you name and demonstrate what the first 3 planes of the body are? Give it a try. And again, when doing your test, both coronal and frontal are either term is going to be perfectly all right. I don't have a preference. So coronal or frontal. Then you have your sagittal or your median or midline. All 3 will be fine for me. And then your transverse going across. And what you'll have is a picture, a drawing, very similar. If you look at the PowerPoints that's in there, the woman is in blue and they give the same picture in the textbook. If you are one of the classes that have a textbook. And then reviewing directional terms, superior, inferior is towards the bottom, proximal and distal. Proximal being closest to the heart, distal being further away from the heart. Medial towards the middle, lateral going away from the median. Ventral being anterior and dorsal are posterior. And then we want to go over our cavities and our regions. So the cavities in the body are the cranial cavity, then the chest, where the rib cage is the thoracic cavity. And during the Screencastify in my previous lesson, I went over that the thoracic surgeon deals with chest cavity issues. Then the vertebral cavity, or your spinal cavity, and the abdominal cavity is below the rib cage. And the pelvic is where your pelvis is, or your hips are. So cranial, thoracic where your rib cage is, vertebral where your spine is, abdominal where you typically think of being your intestines, and pelvic where your hips or your pelvic girdle is. Then we have the regions of the body, and we look at dividing into quadrants your abdomen. And so if you look at just the abdomen, I will stand for just a moment. So here I have my right and left upper quadrants and my right and left lower quadrants of my abdominal cavity. Right and left quadrants, upper and right and left quadrants lower. And then we also have the hypochondriac region. So that is above what we would consider to be where your right below your rib cage would be the right hypochondriac quadrant and region, and the left hypochondriac region. The umbilical would be where your belly button is, and then below that where your hip is, your right hip would be the right iliac region, and your left hip is the left iliac region. So let's go over the regions again. We divide the abdominal area into quadrants. So if a doctor was asking you where your pain was, and they are looking for what quadrant that is, so they can figure out more or less what sort of like a pre-organ that might be having an issue, whether it's an appendicitis or where you might be having diverticulitis in the intestines, etc. So you have the large abdominal region is divided into 4 quadrants, the right and left upper quadrant and the right and left lower quadrant. We then want to divide that up a little bit more into regions. And so even though we are in that right upper quadrant, we have the right hypochondriac region, and in the left quadrant we would have the left hypochondriac region. And then below that, where the umbilicus was, or the belly button, would be the umbilical region. And then where your hips are, if you put your hands right on your hips, your right hand is on your right iliac region, and your left hand is on your left iliac region. And then you would want to review also the cell organelles. And in this test, you'll be given a blank sheet of paper for the cells. For your regions, you'll get an image that they would show you where the intestines were, they would show you where the rib cage is, and then you just simply have to write the word quadrant or your region. And again, some students might have a little bit of confusion as what's the difference between the quadrants and the regions. The quadrant is the larger over area, and the region is dividing that large right quadrant into a specific. The hypochondriac and the umbilical and the right iliac would be where the lower quadrant was. So cell organelles, you need to do 10 of those for an animal cell, and please make sure that you are studying for the animal cell. So the things I should not see on that blank sheet of paper that I give you, that you're going to draw the cell, you're going to label that and briefly describe it, and the brief description should be about a sentence. Remember, the things I should not see are cell walls, chloroplasts, one large gentle vacuole, because all of those belong to plant pieces. So we are looking just at an animal because, of course, we're not studying plant anatomy or botany, we're studying human anatomy. So organelles that you could do are the nucleus, the nuclear membrane, the nucleolus, the cell membrane, endoplasmic reticulum, then you could divide that out to smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes, lysosomes, mitochondria, vacuoles, and then if those are not of interest to you, you could also add things that are the cytoskeleton or the peroxisomes. There are quite a few that you could choose from. So again, once you draw that and you identify what the organelle is, you need a sentence. So for example, the nucleus would be where DNA is located, where the brain center of the cell. The nuclear membrane controls what goes in and out of a cell, the nucleus itself. The nucleolus is where RNA is located. The endoplasmic reticulum is a pathway. It's also where proteins and lipids are manufactured. The lipids are manufactured on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum that does not have ribosomes. And where protein is manufactured is at the site of the ribosomes that is on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And you could also divide out and mark the ribosome. And remember that ribosomes, not only are they on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, but they're also that are free floating in the cytosol of the cell. You then could move over to have the cell membrane itself, which again, the plasma membrane controls, again, what comes in and out of a cell. And the lysosomes have many functions. One has over 50 digestive enzymes that the enzyme break down specific things. And if you're missing one of those digestive enzymes, you will have a specific disorder. It also breaks down other substances, the lysosome does. Mitochondria are the site of where ATP is manufactured, and peroxisomes is where we would break down that hydrogen peroxide that is manufactured inside the body. Vacuoles would be for storage. They could be for waste products or for water, for example, or other glucose, etc., until it's needed. And remember that during each section, until we get to each lesson, we should be trying to add a few bones, because we want to get a lot of those out of the way prior to getting to the skeletal system itself. And so during this section, I gave you the femur, the clavicle, and the humerus. The femur was the upper arm, the upper leg bone. It is the longest, hardest bone of the body. It's pretty hard to break. Compared to the clavicle, which is one of the easier bones of the body to make, the clavicle is your collarbone. And if I show you an example of that collarbone, it is S-shaped. It sits in the body like this way, but if I turn it so you can see what it looks like, if it was laying out on a lab table, it's hollow, and because it's the only hollow bone of the body, and because it's hollow, it's easily broken. And if I reach over and grab the humerus, the upper arm bone, so the humerus has a head to that, and that would fit into where your shoulder is. And it's not a particularly long bone, but just like the femur, where there's only one upper leg bone, there's only one upper arm bone. And the humerus is kind of interesting in that if I turn to the end, there's a depression there that's called a fossa, and that actually fits in. There's a lower arm bone called the ulna that will fit into that, and so it can move back and forth very nicely. And again, if I pull out the femur, this shows the top of the femur. This is the head of the femur, and that actually goes into the socket of the what you would consider the hip, and allows for rotation. And if there's a lot of grinding away of that, or if this breaks off, that is that traditional broken hip. So this is a head of the femur, and you can see only bone where you have this very extended head. The other bone that has a head in the body is the humerus, and it's nowhere near as extended. You can see if I can compare them side by side, where I have a very extended head and a non-extended head. If I put that across the black shirt, it shows up a little bit easier. So I would practice this by taking a blank sheet of paper and trying to draw out the cell organelles and seeing how far I could get along, and then double check against your notes to make sure that the organelles are correct. I would also practice either on a prickle person or a marshmallow, or cover up the words in the textbook or a worksheet, whatever that you have, on what the planes of the body are, and your directional terms as well. And remember that I'm always available by just email, and a Google Meet or a private session is always possible. So thank you.